So look, even though this channel is called Living in Bellevue, Washington, you might have been doing a little bit of research in the area, trying to figure out where you fit in our beautiful community. So today we're going to be talking about Issaquah, Washington, and where you should live if you're coming to Issaquah, Washington. Welcome to the Living in Bellevue, Washington channel. My name is SILVA. If you're new here, this channel is all about what it's like to live in Bellevue, Washington and any of the surrounding towns around here. If you're not new here, welcome back. Please hit the notification bell and that like button. The like button lets people know who are looking for this information. They can find it a little bit more easily. And if you hit the subscribe button, you'll be notified anytime I upload a new video to this channel. So hey, my name is SILVA. I'm a real estate agent right here in Bellevue, Washington. And look, I have so many people reaching out to me every day. They are calling, texting, emailing because they're relocating or moving around the area in Bellevue and they need a good agent to help them. You can do the same thing. If you are relocating to Bellevue or any of the surrounding areas, please call me, text me, email me. You can hit that calendar link right down below and get on the calendar as soon as possible or whenever you're coming into town, and let's get you started. We've got you covered on your move to Bellevue, Washington. So we're gonna start right kind of in the middle of Issaquah. So we have Central Issaquah, Issaquah Valley, and Old Town. That's kind of the big circle, the main component in the wheel of what is Issaquah. Issaquah is a really old town. It started as a mining logging town. We still have the old railroad museum in Old Town. So Old Town is the original main street. It is called Front Street. It's the original main street that was in Issaquah. We have a railroad museum just behind the main slew of stores. The city likes to keep the character of the old town in that fashion. There's nothing over 2 stories, I believe, on that street. Storefronts still look a little old-fashioned. It's a great place to go. There's a great music store there. There's lots of bars and restaurants and little art boutique stores. When you get right off of that main street, on either side of the road, you are starting to run into a lot of the older homes in Issaquah. Some are pretty tiny because they were old vacation homes or for miners many, many, many years ago in the early 1900s when Issaquah was nothing but farmland, or the miners and the loggers were in town. So we have old homes going back to the 1920s, 1940s. On the other side of the road, one step back or 1 block away from Front Street, we have newer construction. They're building townhouses, quite modern townhouses that have the tuck under, so the garage is on the main floor and then the main living is on the second floor and so on. And we also have condos. If you go on the other main street in Issaquah, which is Gilman Boulevard, there's a Gilman, I want to say art district. Gilman Village has really cool stores in there, recycle shops and Lucky You and all sorts of fun boutique kind of places, one-of-a-kind kind of places that you can go. But on that same road, we also have some 5-story buildings now that house office space, that house storage, that house condominiums, and it's becoming a very mixed urban kind of setting. Issaquah has also done a really great job. I think they call it the Green Necklace, the Green Trail, something like that. So within that Issaquah Valley, Central Issaquah, Old Town, you can get almost anywhere by walking paths. You can get to the bus transfer station, you can get to the shops, you can get to the parks, you can get to different neighborhoods, all following that walkway. So they've made it really kind of urban in that it's very pedestrian friendly, but it's also still very suburban and that there's a lot of residential going on there. That is kind of Central Issaquah, Issaquah Valley, Old Town. Right, that center spoke in the middle of the village. Next, we're going to talk about the neighborhoods on Squaw Mountain. There are 2 prominent neighborhoods on Squaw Mountain. The bigger one of the 2 is called Talus. Talus is a 600+ acre master planned community. You can see it as you drive by. It's right off the 900 and it is huge. They have done a fantastic job with Talus. They do have their own community events there, like an Easter egg hunt, the family night out, something like that. So they do host their own events. If you are in Talus, once you get down the mountainside and onto 900, your access to I-90 is quite easy if you're going anywhere for work or to go out in general. So something that is sort of unique to Tallis is that it is also connected to over 200 miles of trails. You can get pretty much anywhere through the Tallis neighborhood onto a trailhead and go for miles and miles and miles. It also has its own retirement community called Timber Ridge. And like I said, they have a good mix, a diverse mix of different types of housing, townhouses, condos, as well as single family homes. And you can have a pretty good view from up on top there. On the other side, I would say the west side of Cougar Mountain, closer to the west side of Cougar Mountain, we have another neighborhood, also a master planned community, 200 plus acres, and it's only about 247 homes, and it is called Montro. What's unique about Montro is that almost all the houses up there have a spectacular view of Lake Sammamish, all the way to Bellevue. You can see pretty wide and pretty clear on a non-rainy day. You can have a pretty spectacular view. Also up in Montro or near Montro is the Cougar Mountain Zoo, so you might actually hear some wildlife that is less wild than the wildlife we have walking around otherwise. Speaking of retirement communities, one of the most northern tips of Issaquah is a neighborhood referred to as Providence Point. It's pretty well known in our community. It is quite large. Providence Point is the 55 and older community in Issaquah. And like I said, it's been around for quite a long time and it is very well known. They provide activities, buses, and all sorts of amenities for the people who live there to participate in classes and community events and to get on and off to go shopping, etc. in downtown Issaquah or elsewhere. Providence Point, if you are looking for 55 and older, northern part of Issaquah, still hilly, still beautiful, and in some places a pretty great view. One of my very favorite places in Issaquah is the Issaquah Highlands. It is the newest part of Issaquah. Houses were built there, and I believe the first people moved in homes, residences in Issaquah Highlands in 1998, so really not that long ago. If you go to the top of the hill, you have Harrison Street and you have some phenomenal houses. It's a beautiful drive just to see the beautiful architecture. They are all custom homes. Beautiful, beautiful to look at. Housing prices definitely start up there. You're probably looking at $2 million on the low end, and it just goes up from there. But beautiful estates. Issaquah Highlands was built as a green urban community. There's a movie theater there. There's some pet boutiques, Starbucks, restaurants again. Very walkable and user-friendly for people who are there. There's a bus transit station. And Issaquah Highlands, again, is, if you go to the very top, you're getting the big custom homes, unique, all and different. But if you're in the Issaquah Highlands main part of town, which is still up on the plateau, you've got brownstones and townhomes and single family homes, and pretty much everything is, again, connected by different trails, bike paths, hiking ways. So you can get across town fairly easy without a car. It's really user friendly and it's a great place to be. And a lot of those areas might be a little less treed in, so not quite as dark as some of the other places. So while Issaquah Highlands is still relatively new and there's still building going on there, we also want to mention that Swedish Hospital is also there. It's a beautiful hospital. It is so beautiful that almost all the kids that I know that grew up in the area, if they ever had to go to the hospital, they all decided they were going to go into medicine because it is a beautiful, beautiful hospital and it doesn't come across as being a hospital at all. Great service, great doctors, super close for all those emergencies, but it's first-class treatment all the way. Issaquah Highlands also has their own fiber optic network. So we live in a very tech-savvy community, and the Highlands has Highlands fiber optic. They want to make sure everything is up to speed and everything. There are, I believe, over 130 community gardens. Now, Issaquah Highlands is a community of about 4,000 homes. So you can get a little bit of an idea as to how they like to keep things. If they've got the community gardens going on, they have, I think, 38 different community clubs just in the Issaquah Highlands. They like their kids to be able to go out and do things. They like to be pedestrian. They like to go walk their dogs. Dog parks, community gardens, parks, trails, everywhere you go, in really a fairly small community. So it's really user-friendly and it's a great place to hang out. So if you're from Issaquah, you probably don't call North Issaquah, but North Issaquah is a section of Issaquah that is connecting all the rest of Issaquah with Providence Point part of Issaquah. It runs from where Issaquah ends through I-90 along East Lake Sammamish Road, and it is where we have our Fred Meyer and dry cleaners and Cold Stone Creamery. Home Depot is over there. We have a Best Buy over there. So there's a lot of shopping over there that you can do. Behind that, we have condos and townhouses, and then up on the hilltop, we have single family homes. That would be considered North Issaquah. They also, again, have a fantastic view. If you're on top of that ledge, you have a beautiful view of downtown Issaquah and even part of the lake. So we've already talked about Cougar Mountain, and if you haven't seen my other videos, Issaquah is kind of surrounded by the Issaquah Alps. We have Tiger Mountain, Cougar Mountain, and Squaw Mountain. Cougar Mountain, like I said, we already talked about Talus and Montro over there in the Cougar Mountain Zoo. Now we're going to talk about Squaw Mountain. Squaw Mountain is probably more treed in than Cougar Mountain, excuse me. It has some neighborhoods with HOA and some neighborhoods that are quite a bit older and don't have an HOA. Hiking and biking trails, lots of ways to get around on Squaw Mountain. Because they are on Squaw Mountain, there's pretty diverse views depending on where you are on Squaw Mountains. You can have views of Sammamish, you can have views of pretty much anything and anywhere depending on where you're placed on the mountain. One of the interesting facts about Squaw Mountain is a lot of the street names are named after mountaintops, so pretty cool to get one of those street names. We also have the South Lake Sammamish community, neighborhoods like South Cove. A lot of those neighborhoods have beach rights, boat launching rights. You have a lot of clear view of Lake Sammamish. It does sit down level with the lake, so your altitude above ocean level is pretty much zero. So you're not staggered up the hillside like a lot of the other neighborhoods in Issaquah, but you do have that proximity to Lake Sammamish, which is of course one of our favorite places to go. We also have the Lake Sammamish Community Park. There is a lot to do there. There's a boat launch there, there's beach swimming, there's ballparks, there's soccer fields, and that is quite an extensive area along the lake. It runs from South Cove basically all the way past Costco and all the way to the other side of the lake, so East Lake Sammamish where the boat launch is. Depending on what you have planned to do around the lake, that is all the South Lake Sammamish area, and there's lots of things to do, so depending on what you want, you'll be going to either side of the lake. Finally, we're going to talk about the Sycamore Neighborhood. Sycamore Neighborhood is south side of the Issaquah city limits, east and west side of the road, and you're going to find mostly single family homes on larger lots, more trees. The lots in the area have a lot of native plants, native trees, and part of the community's desire is to keep the salmon running, so the Issaquah Creek also runs through that area, and we have a lot of salmon running, especially during salmon season. The Chinook, the sockeye salmon go through those waterways and all the way down into downtown Issaquah to the salmon hatchery. But again, the Sycamore area has a lot of that old growth forest, blackberries, native plants, the trillium, a lot of cool things to see. You're probably gonna end up with a little bit more wildlife coming through your yard. Deer, I'd say raccoons, but we don't see a lot of raccoons around here, but you will see a lot more of that wildlife. And again, just like everywhere else in Issaquah, you have access to different trailheads. Sycamore kind of sits in the foothills or at the base of Squaw and Tiger Mountain, so you can really go any direction and get yourself on a pathway somewhere. So that kind of concludes my description of the neighborhoods that are available to you in Issaquah. Issaquah is pretty diverse and pretty vast, even though it's a smaller community in the area. It used to be considered the country many, many years ago, but it's turned into this vibrant, unique area, and we all really love it there. Lots of things to do for lots of people, indoor, outdoor things. We have Costco headquarters here, which is an amazing thing. We have a Microsoft campus in downtown Issaquah. We have Siemens Ultrasound is also located in downtown Issaquah. So there are lots of things to do. If you're still considering moving to Issaquah, please call me, text me, shoot me an email, or again, you can hit that calendar link down below and we can get you on the calendar and get together and show you Issaquah. Until next time, bye.